Because did anybody catch the piece right before you spread the ashes? When he's walking up and they see the markings, and Atreus comments on the markings.
Which part specifically?
Right at the end. Because there's so much stuff that happens at the end. Like,
yeah,
it's like a lot.
I made it fairly dense, but this part was intentionally meant to be a little bit deeper layer, right? So, in video games, we have something called visual language, right? Which is like yellow pipes, white paint, things that are indicating to the player that you can actually climb or interact with something within the world. So in our game, we have this kind of, markings that have little triangular designs. It's not exactly runes, but it's very stylistic markings throughout the game. And I think as you play games, you just sort of think, oh, okay, those are the visual language, right?
Yeah.
Faye walked the journey first. Faye put all of the visual language throughout the entire game. Damn. And at that one moment at the end, you see the visual language with her hand, right? And just he goes,
chills.
that was what she did. So she is the dungeon master of this entire experience, really.
But would she have had to do, go in the same walk all through the mines to get up to where the bridge to Jotunheim was originally? Because for her, it still would have been intact, right?
Yep.
She would have just walked through that way.
But that's how they originally fled. So all the giants actually fled through there, but she knew all the things that were going to happen. So she was actually laying down the marker. But also in the lake, right? The writing is in yellow. That's sort of the color associated with her. Yeah. So there are a few areas in the game in which she specifically wrote something. So not all of it was written by her, but anything that is kind of in her, what we're calling her kind of cardinal color, like yellow is her color. Those are sort of messages from her. At the end, the sort of super secret ending is Atreus actually sort of channeling a little bit of her power as well. So seeing a little bit into the future. So his abilities are very different from Kratos's, and they start to manifest slowly after he has the breakthrough on the journey, which is that sense of understanding who he is. And each one of these things is this sort of exploration into who he is. It is removing the layers to kind of discover. And some of it we've told people, some of it we haven't. The world serpent speaks in a language that nobody can decipher, which is why we didn't put any subtitles there. So he actually says a bunch of stuff.
I know there's an earlier piece of dialogue that Atreus has, and I loved the idea. It never hit me until then, but just giants don't have to be physically giant.
These passages seem too small for giants. Why do you laugh?
Oh, you're serious?
I am always serious.
I forget. Mom always said you never took an interest in history. Giants are just a race. Elves and Holgerfolk. It doesn't mean they're big.
Yes.
It was just a really cool concept and awesome twist on that I just didn't expect at all. And I love that little bit of dialogue in there.
And that Atreus laughs at him.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, you think they have to be giant. No. And that's interesting because they talk about it in the myth as well. Hold on, I forgot. Right. Yeah. It is more of at least in our world, a force of will. They will themselves to be whatever size that they need to be at the time.
Okay.
Cool.
Point. I kind of messed up on 2 a lot with the reveal of Gaia being the narrator, right? And didn't set it up clear enough, right? Didn't have enough indicators prior to her sort of reaching out to Kratos so that it was a little too abrupt, right? And it has always bugged me. For years it has bugged me, right? Because it was something easily fixed. So I thought, all right, if I'm going to do anything now, I'm going to make sure that there is always valid, like a valid sort of indicator for anything so that you could go back and you could look at it. So much so that if we do a second game or a third game, you're going to go back to the first one and you're going to be like, oh my God, that was there. Right? I have so many things in there that are just setups for much later and much, much later and really far later. So I'm a lunatic.
So it's him thinking he's hearing his mother at certain points, him actually making a connection with a point maybe in the past where she was in a certain location? Or is he just hallucinating?
This is where it gets a little tricky. She is actually, I guess, in the light in Alfheim. The Alfheim light is for us, as we look at all of this, the Lake of Alfheim is kind of the well of a part of the Norse soul. There was one part in the game that never made it in and got cut early on, but there's this thing called the Lindworm, right, in Norse myth. And it kind of travels from realm to realm, sort of devouring some of these souls, right, or a fraction or a part of the soul, because the Norse soul is broken up into like 6 pieces.
Can you tell me again what happens when someone dies?
Every living thing has a soul, and every soul has 4 parts: form, mind, direction, and luck. Direction steers the souls of giants, dwarves, elves, and animals toward the Lake of Souls in Alfheim, where all the parts may be absorbed back into Alfheim's great light.
And then would travel to the lake and kind of deposit these souls in there. And then it would go into the light, coming back out, and then sort of go back into somebody else who was born. So it's this fantastic sort of cycle of life that all these different people and the fractions of their souls are going into this well and then being sort of ejected back out to the other realms. The Lindworm ended up getting removed from that, but that kind of connection to all of these pieces and putting all of them together means that part of Faye was there waiting for Kratos to come into the light. And she was trying to tell him, because if you look at what happened in the light, it is a chronological visual of your journey. So before you go to Jotunheim or Helheim on the boat, she's showing Kratos. She doesn't have a lot of power to be able to do so much. The most important thing she was showing was the kind of inner life of Atreus, right? That when he was sitting there and he was praying, inside his head, he was talking about how disappointed he was, how dad doesn't like him, right? And now how he just wish he would, give him an attaboy, right?
The